That's a sick burn. Hilarious. What did the penguin say in response? I would tell you, but that's a story for another time. Oh. Hey, this weekend, do you want to come over and play some HeroQuest? I know we finished First Light, but we could play some more quests using that First Light cave board. Oh, this weekend? I don't know. It's my wedding anniversary, and I've got jury duty. Also, I've got an interview. I'm up for a promotion at work. It could be life-changing. What the heck? Never mind all that. Of course I'll play. Well, too bad, because there aren't any more and there never will be again. Loser, get wrecked. Does this situation feel familiar to you? If so, then you should seek help, because a dice bag is not a phone. Also, please remember to take your meds. And yet, the sad, simple fact is, so many people are not going to be able to play quests on the First Light board after they're done playing the First Light campaign. Why is this? Well, it all has to do with Avalon Hill's strategy of releasing these games and expansions in such a manner that they don't require you to have any particular other expansion, just the game system. And while First Light is definitely a game system, those people who have the original game system don't have access to the exact same contents, notably the First Light underside of the board, the cave map. Say what you will about the cave map, it does offer a completely new way of traversing quests, official and unofficial. It gives us one of the largest rooms in the entire game across all expansions, one of the largest, not the largest, and it does so right on the board. No additional tiles necessary. It's not perfect, it definitely has its quirks, but what are you supposed to do when you want to play more quests that incorporate this board? Welcome home, brave heroes. I'm Ash. This is HeroQuest, and I am quite chuffed to share that Giles McNeill of SundayQuest fame is releasing a book exclusively using the First Light board found on the underside of the dungeon board for HeroQuest First Light. This part was not scripted, but this part probably should have been scripted, and will be releasing it as part of his SundayQuest Adventure series on Amazon. By the Dawn's First Light. Now, if you already keep an eye on Giles' socials, namely Facebook, The Old Inn, you will see this stuff. But I've got some details on this that I think are very much worth sharing and getting excited over if you are an owner of the First Light game system and you want to see more quests being played on the First Light board. I mean, come on. Canonically, officially, rules as written and so on, we only have 5 quests, and that is it. After that, we're pretty much at risk at never seeing another official quest using that board ever again. Not unless Avalon Hill comes out with an expansion that says you have to specifically have First Light as the game system to play, and that is a possibility, absolutely, and a realistic one. But I don't know how probable it is. At any rate, all you need is First Light to play this new By the Dawn's First Light book. And it comes with 7 quests, all on the First Light board, which actually outdoes the 5 quests from the official First Light game system. Purportedly, this will be released in autumn, so there will be no links in the description below. You'll just have to go search for SundayQuest First Light, or as I said, keep an eye on the Old Inn Facebook group. I'm going to do a full review on it when it comes out. The reason I'm wanting to do a full review on this one as opposed to any of the other SundayQuest books before it is really because of the nature of this one. It's only using the First Light quest board. It's a first of its kind, and if there's going to be a series, then it's the first in its series, but we won't hold our breaths on the series. Instead, we'll spend lots of money getting this and hope that that's enough to incentivize the author to create more. Now, being that it is based on the contents of First Light, there will be the dragon. I'm not saying you have to use the First Light dragon. You can use whatever dragon you want, but there will be a dragon. There are mechanics from other expansions, and we know Giles likes to use mechanics from a variety of expansions and materials and assets from a variety of expansions in his work, but this is not going to require anything from other expansions or game systems, just the First Light one. You'll see references to things like the swinging blade trap and things like that, but they don't need material assets from any particular expansion because there are no assets to represent that. It will be around the price point of the other books, and I've got a map to share with you and a little bit of lore. So this is the kind of adventuring we can expect to see in this book, and if this picture confuses you because you are a First Light enjoyer and you don't remember seeing monsters and graphics that look quite like this, worry not, because this book is actually going to feature the same 7 quests in 2 different styles. This would be the classic style, and we know this style well from the old classic game system. I need to stop calling it old. I'm just going to call myself old. I'd rather call myself classic. And then when they remake me in about 20 or so years, they can call that one the contemporary Ash. And then there will be the AI-generated First Light Ash. Oh, this timeline needs healing. As you can see, it is using the room layout of the First Light board. Now, I just said it's not going to require any assets other than what comes with First Light, but that's a bit of a misnomer. It looks here like we have 2 weapons racks, so you may need to reuse some pieces of furniture as this stands, unless this is an error and is going to be corrected. This is a pretty early peek at the book. It's not out yet. It may be by the time you get around to this video, but it's not out as of the filming of this video. And it's not out as of the first date this video is going up. Orcs, there are so many orcs on this. Personally, I don't criticize the use of too many enemies unless it's for something like a game jam or something, but in all likelihood, you're not going to open that many doors without dying fairly quickly. So enter a room, reveal the monsters, slay the monsters, move into the next room. So you could also treat the furniture the same way and move that weapons rack, but I digress. I'm someone who doesn't like the 3x3 rooms on the board. I think the cramped spaces don't offer me more options. They offer me more fiddliness. But I don't say that to criticize this work. I say that to say it's a little extra difficult and challenging to create interesting and well-flowing maps and quests that are immersive when you have a board like this. Not impossible, but certainly more challenging than using the board that we're all familiar with, that we've all built quests on by the dozens by now. Having said that, this looks like a very straightforward and fun quest to play. There are only 2 quest notes, A and B. It's simple, it's very accessible, and I particularly like the detail that as soon as you begin the game here by stepping through this door, if one of your first actions was to be searching for secret doors, you'd find all 3 of the secret doors that are visible to you from your spot in the corridor at the center of this T-junction, but you can't do that because you have enemies to dispatch first. And as we all know, we can't take the time to search for secret doors, hidden buttons along dungeon walls, and the like, when we have goblins trying to leap upon our backs and stab us in the necks. It's a great first quest, though. All 4 heroes potentially have something important to do as soon as they begin. The first hero can come in, whack that goblin right upside the head. The second hero that comes in can move through the first hero and dispatch one of the other 2 goblins. The third hero can then do the same with the other goblin. And then the fourth hero, if they roll high enough, they can make it all the way to the end of this corridor and take out the 4th goblin. Nice. Then they can start searching for stuff before they round the corners and reveal.
Stop it.
Get some help.
That is such a wealth of greenskins. Let's move on to the lore. Beneath the cracked stones of Galhoff, a tremor echoes from the deep earth. Sinkholes open, lost tunnels bleed heat in the shadows below the crumbling castle Gallerschloss. The orcs of the Onyx Blade dig towards something older than stone and more dangerous than flame. At the heart of the mountain lies the Silmavira, the First Light, a primordial spark of dawn fire, once guarded by dwarves, now sought by cultists and warlords alike. As the earth shudders and a forgotten dragon stirs, the heroes must choose. Will they seal the light away, unleash its wrath upon the orcish horde, or wield it themselves, reshaping the fate of the mountain and the world beyond? By the Dawn's First Light is a full-length, branching campaign for HeroQuest, spanning 7 quests across 2 acts and a climactic finale. The campaign features ancient dwarven vaults and trap-laden shrines, a sleeping dragon with a secret name, a burning labyrinth and the Onyx cult's ritual of flame, moral choices with world-altering consequences. Whether you seal the First Light, free it to purge the darkness, or claim its power for your own, By the Dawn's First Light promises a story of fire, stone, and sacrifice, where every hero must reckon with the flame that started it all. I will point out that the new version of the map does have the furniture corrected in such a way you don't need 2 weapons racks. But other than that, every detail persists. I will link to Giles' socials below where you can keep an eye on this and news about it, but eventually you will see it here on the channel, being reviewed in all of its glory. Until then, brave heroes, I just thought of an amazing thing to say to that creep. I gotta go. Have a good one. Bye. Oh, I know exactly what I'm gonna say to this loser. What the? Hello? Your mom? Hey, do you like Imagine Dragons? Well, imagine the First Light Dragon being the only one in HeroQuest history to ever be released. Pretty sure that's how that joke goes. I should take my meds.